With 10 years of experience in the industry, doing work ranging from electronic product related application development to enterprise software product development, we would like to invite Mr. Samudra Kananekaarachchi.
When I got this invitation, just to talk about what industry expect from a young graduate. So while I was sitting here, I actually changed my topic a bit since a lot of people covered certain aspects. So my talk is today, it's about connecting dots. So this is actually a common tagline which comes from Steve Jobs. Maybe already some of you have heard about this. So how many of you are dreaming about become an entrepreneur or a software engineer? So we have different dreams, right? When I was in 8th year, I was dreaming about to become a caterpillar driver. I didn't know why I was. The reason I brought up this, usually your dreams or your things that you do, it really associates with the people you deal with. So at age 8, I had one of my friends who was a caterpillar driver, and he used to give me a lot of rides in this caterpillar, right? So I was dreaming. Then thereafter, my parents, they want me to become a software engineer or engineer, but at that time, I didn't know what really I will end up with. So the connecting dots, it's about today. When you are thinking today, you will never know what you will become tomorrow. But unless you focus today, what you are going to do and what dots you are going to create, you will never know how to connect your dots. That's the whole idea behind this connecting dots. For example, this conference or this gathering, the TECHNOVATION, it's a clear dot in your life. So if you don't learn something out of this, or if you get something out, so these are the type of dots that you create in your life. When I look at the previous presentation from that entrepreneur, so in his academic life, he has created many dots. But at that time, he didn't knew that the business he started, taking apple from somewhere and selling it. So today he's a businessman, but at that time he didn't knew what really he's going to end up with. And that is the beauty of this life. So the main point here is you have to focus on today and create all of these dots today. Then sometime down the line you can say, okay, this is the exact reason why I became this entrepreneur, right? So this is the famous quote. So you cannot connect your dots forward by looking at your future. So that's just a dream. But when you go there, you can connect it backwards and you can clearly say, okay, these are the different dots that I have created, and these are the different dots that help me to come to this position. What if you don't create dots? That's one of the biggest challenge you are facing today. So you don't know how to create dots and you are not inspired to create dots. And also, if you can remember, this is something you always do in the childhood. You draw shapes and you connect dots, and that will shape up a figure. It's same in your life. When you connect these figures, you can do different things here and there. You can have a degree, you can have a let's say a grade 5 scholarship, and you can do some programming. So you can do a lot of interesting things here and there. But if you don't connect them properly, and if you don't project yourself in this picture, you will go nowhere. So that's why really you need to understand how these dots are connecting backwards, as well as you have to dream forward and you have to create dots today, so you can figure out this picture in your life. And this is what you are doing at the moment, this is what you have been done in the past, and this is what you will be doing in the future. So I have few points, so how you do it is, so your future depends on your ability to create dots. We call it dotitude. So unless you have that attitude, am I audible? I don't use this. Is it okay? You can't hear? Okay, right. Okay, so your future will be dependent on your ability to create dots today. If you look at this, I see a lot of people today, some people they believe in karma or some magic equation that will define your life, and you let karma to define your life. But the attitude of creating dots, you can change it. So people never know a decision that you make today will change your tomorrow, right? So if you look at karma, it is just 10% of your life. So you study because your parents want to study, or you just study because you have enough money, so I am not going to do anything. So there can be different reasons that you will say, okay, I will just follow my life based on my karma. But that is just 10% of your life, right? But we never know that decisions that we take or things that we do can change 90% of this life. And that is how anyone will start his career. And it's same with me. When I started, okay, it's a very ordinary life. So I will do my exams because my parents want to do. So I will just join the industry because I want to earn money and run a family. Those are the different reasons that you can give out excuses that you are building a life. But if you start thinking other way around, okay, today itself I can change my journey, the decisions I take today can change my life. So that is where you need to move, right? And that defines people to people. And if you look at any successful person, they will tell this kind of stories. It's same what those people has presented. So they are doing a lot of hard work behind the scene to get there. But so that is what we have to build upon our lives, right? Good example. You might say if you want to come here and do a speech today, so you might say, okay, I am fear of public speaking, I am nervous. So you can come up with a lot of reasons not to come here and speak, right? So that's just a circle of concern. That means no one is going to benefit out of it. And you don't have a control out of it. But if you decide, okay, I am going to join a Toastmaster club so that I can improve my public speaking skills. So that's influence, right? You can see two circles. So in your life, if you increase the circle of concern, that means your circle of influence, it's like this, it's like a dot. So you won't take any action to improve your public speaking skills. But if you forget about your weaknesses, your uncomfortable zones, so you can come here and talk it. So that's what you have to do every day of your life, right? So go away from this circle of concerns. I don't have money, I don't have skills to do this. Forget about all these negative aspects which will kill your life, and focus on the center and try to make it bigger and bigger, right? Then you will feel like, okay, it's natural, just like driving a car. So I can just go and speed. So it's same with building a new company. You will say, okay, I don't have entrepreneurial skills. I don't have business skills. I don't have money. So that's not the nature. People who have come long forward, they didn't have money. They only had the courage and the circle of influence. Then be very aware of your priorities. That is one other important aspect. If you look at our priorities, there are things urgent and there are things important, right? So this is a representation, the urgent and important things, which comes, those are critical things that you have to do it now. Basically, you are in a crisis mode, you have to do it now. And there are things which might not be urgent, that means you don't have to do it today, but it is important. Things like strategies, things like I will do a business after my graduation. So things which are opportunities will become in the future, that those are the things belong to this, right? And the interruptions, the day-to-day interruptions which are urgent but not important. For example, like if you become a manager, you always get like complaints from people and you have to waste a lot of time and effort. So those are urgent but not important for your life, right? So be aware of these facts. And there are some things which are not urgent, not important. And most of us, we spend our life here, this part. It's just like a RAM. Your mind is just like a RAM. If you fill up your RAM with unimportant, not urgent stuff, what will happen? So you don't have any space for which are important and which are critical for your future. So that's which come under, like you surf Facebook and you talk a lot of gossips and you spend a lot of time with your colleagues drinking, a lot of things. So if you just cut down on these things, you will get a lot of time for your life and your career, right? So this is just a guess. At least 80% of your time you have to focus on things are necessary and you have to do it today. And also it is important to spend a lot of time in this area, which will be opportunities for future, and suddenly maybe 2-3 years down the line these things will move into here, right? You stay at university for 4 years and end of the year you wanted to have a job, right? At the beginning of your university, it is an opportunity, but today when you are leaving out, it's a must, it's a necessity. You have to walk out and do a job or start a business. Yeah. The second thing is, so you create dots. At time to time you create dots, but how do you connect them? So you have to use them for valuable purpose. So you need to know what you are doing it. Otherwise what will happen is you will just go to a software company or you start a business and you will earn enough money or you will do enough job and you will not live up to your fullest potential. So when I can remember, like when we came out from university, the intention was, okay, I want to become a software engineer, earn 75,000 salary. So what? So when you join the industry, you get, let's say you get a software engineer. Are you settling it there? So are you moving forward? So those are the different questions that you have to ask yourself. How I move forward? These are the experience that you have to get from the industry. And you have to build relationships, and I think those aspects are covered in previous presentations, so I won't describe those things, but you need to know about these things. This is just a beginning. When you join the industry, it's just a beginning and it's not the end, right? So, but when you are in the faculty, you feel like, okay, this getting a job is end of the academic career, but it is beginning for a new era. And this is so people will have a lot of PhDs, masters, maybe hundreds of research papers. But what if you just have a PhD? You get the status and you become maybe a doctor. But what is the value you are giving to the society back? How you use this PhD to be a better person? That is what is important. Imagine you have 100 or 50 different research papers published, but none of them are used in production or for a business purpose. So I will just say this is like you need to know how you are using it. Like traditionally it used to be doing big research upfront or a big PhD upfront. You coming out from the university and you go for a PhD and you obsessively study different aspects and then you come out as a PhD holder and then what? But today the facts are changing. So you need to understand earning a PhD just a 10% of the work. Converting your research or your idea to a production, it's the hardest part, making executed in the real environment. Let's say you find a new algorithm in searching in big data space. So how do you use it in practical way is the difficult part. If you just publish it in a research paper and no one is using, then that's a trouble, right? Not a trouble, but it's pointless. You spend a lot of time and energy, but you are not really giving it up, right? So I would say the modern approaches in research, this is happening in the industry. So you don't have to go to a university like Oxford, but still majority of you can join the industry and you can earn the same intellect by doing this kind of research. So what you will do is you innovate on certain ideas. It may be a Hadoop algorithm, it may be a big data algorithm, it may be a new product. So as soon as you get the idea, continuously you have to test it on the production. So you test it and let's say if Apple just come with a new iPhone and if users say, okay, this is not what I wanted, so you recycle it. So similarly, when you develop a new product or if you innovate on a new business, so this is the cycle you have to go through. You have to get continuous feedback from both the technical aspect as well as end user, because right now we are more in an era of user will decide what you want, because traditionally it was the factory that say, okay, we have a really nice product, so use it. So we have a really nice phone, this is the way we wanted for you to use it. But that era is over. Now the users will say, so your product is bullshit, so come up with products that we want, right? So you need to balance this act, and it will be same on your studies. So it doesn't matter how much you learn if you can't really use it. So it's a matter of building relationship with the real users as well as people who can influence these products, as well as using your knowledge. Not necessarily your whole knowledge, but if you can use something perfectly or something which is meaningful for a business, that is what is important. It is not that you know everything. I know this C++, I know Java, and I know how to mine big data. That doesn't matter if you can't use it. So the third point, it is about a deep understanding about how you do and what you do. And this comes with a very nice story. And you know about this Basunas, right? So people who build houses. So here we have 3 Basunas. And this Basuna on the left, he says, my bricks are in very high quality. And it's precise. I exactly know the width, height, and other parameters of this brick. And he's very quality conscious. The second one in the middle, when he asks, what are you doing? I am the fastest brick maker in this area. So I am really good at, I can make 1,000 bricks per day. So if someone wants to challenge me, so challenge me. So that is what he does. And when you ask the same question from the one on the right, he will say, I am building an empire. So he knows the big picture. At the moment, what he's doing is, he's just putting bricks on a wall, but it's just a brick, the wall on the empire, right? So this is what exactly you have to know about yourself. So maybe at this point you are learning. So maybe you are doing some research, maybe you are building a small product, but you should know that you are doing a single part and you have understanding about the big picture, how this will help you to go forward. And same time, these are also very important parameters for software companies. Like if you take India versus Sri Lanka, I'm not humiliating actually, but it is about the volume versus quality. So the graduates who comes from this industry has to be very quality. Otherwise you can't compete with such a huge industry in India, very close by, but you have to be very quality. And it's not a volume that, like if you can produce 5,000 lines per day, that doesn't matter. So if you can write 100 lines which are high in quality and very high in, it's well tested and it runs as expected, that's what matters, right? So these quality factors also will be visible in your lifestyle also. Someone may talk about quality, but while you are having a cluttered desktop in your machine, so or a cluttered room in your home, right? So quality is not something that you build inside the code. It's something you build into your lifestyle. So that is important part, right? Whatever the lectures that you know, whether you are producing quality notes, whether you have right questions, whether you have tested, validated what you have learned, those are the parameters which will say your character. And it will go same when you write the code later down the line, right? So you will write very quality code, you will comment, and someone else also can understand. If your note cannot be understood by someone else today, so there's a high chance that your code also cannot be understood by someone else, right? That is because you haven't practiced it from the ground, right? So that's why quality has to be maintained at this level. You start it today. Like if you have these characteristics today, just change it. Like make it a habit. So how you organize your bed, how you organize your table. So these are the facts later which will connect into your life, and this is how you will exactly write your code. So the fourth factor is choosing the right thing. So early days when we came out from the universities, we don't have much choices. So we had very less job opportunities and we chose whatever it comes. Like I can remember my first job, I was a technician. So I had to assemble these computers and it was like 4,000 bucks paid to me. So making a choice is not that difficult. You have to start something today and move forward. But today, so in this session itself, you have large number of information coming to you, right? So it's really difficult to make a choice when you have too much information, right? So that's a challenge. So learning different languages, different technologies, mobile, cloud, semantic web. So you have a lot of spaces. How do you select it? So the challenge is how do you master the concepts, not the languages. So you don't have to worry about languages much, but try to learn the concepts and technologies. Today when I say technologies and concepts, it's not about the sorting algorithm or the data structures. That is foundation. But you need to know what is really cloud means, what does really mobile means, what does really social means. So you have to understand the enterprise big picture because you are dealing with large volumes. So and large technology influencers. So be familiar about those things. At least learn one cloud concept, one mobile concept. Later you can, like when you get a project, you can learn the relevant technology, but conceptually you should know it very well. And this is one other, right? So most of the time, the social media, smartphones, and this is the worst part. So you marry and you exchange information next door, you exchange by smartphone, right? This is not the life that we have to live, right? This is exactly what we don't have to do. But this is what majority of us do, right? The building your character. So if you look at, I mean these are very famous figures and none of them appear on Facebook and they haven't built their characters on social media. But today what's happening is, so people try to build their characters mostly on social media. But you need to realize you have to build it first in the civilization. That means if you don't, let's say, there was a very good question in this one of the entrepreneurship forum. He said, I have 500 connections in Facebook. And one guy, he asked, how many of them have to speak to you directly? And how many of them will come to help you whenever you wanted to have a help, right? So when you don't have that base and when you use the technology in wrong format, this will happen. The previous slide. This will happen. So be aware of this fact and try to go away from it. And try to be very, build your own character. Try to get influenced by different people who have already success. And I mean, there's a very good argument that work-life balance. So I'm a firm believer of there's nothing as such. It's a decision of yours whether you want work or life. But if you look at any of these people, like, it is dependent on where you want to pitch. You can be a regular person, and if you want to be a really charismatic or kind of a character, and if you want to change something, so these are the things that you have to think of, right? And the self-esteem. Self-esteem means your ability to trust yourself. And it's a matter of how you build your learning system and how you build your ecosystem. So this is a famous cycle, the Maslow hierarchy. When you have basic needs, you start building your add-ons on top of it, right? When you have good basic needs and when you have good knowledge and security and other things, then you become very confident about yourself, and that is the place where you make most value out of you. But when you don't have this, these things, if you try to make it base, like instead of basic philosophy, to try to make Google or Facebook as your bottom line, and then what will happen? Are you actually living on a real world? This is something you have to think for, right? So I have seen this several times, and this is happening, and be very conscious. So at last, just to recap, try to understand the concept of connecting dots, and just spend enough time to create your own dots, create your own project, create your own business while you are in university, as other guy mentioned. So spend enough time to build your qualities and other aspects which I mentioned. So start it today and not tomorrow. And when you go out from the university, you are a fully fledged man. That means you have to run. You are alone. There will be support from the society, but you have to take your own, create your own dots, create your own energy, and you have to make your own choices. So this is a very famous concept, a leader without a title. So a lot of us, we work or we earn to get titles. So you want to become a software engineer, then you want to become a senior engineer, and then you want to become an architect. Or you have a traditional hierarchy which you have built upon your mind, but it is not really what happens actually behind the scene. So if you talk about Steve Jobs, yes, finally he made a CEO role, but it's not the title what matters. How you day to day, how you lead yourself. These people, they are very obsessive about what they want to achieve. So obsessive in some other terms, it is OCD, it's Pisu, Matu, right? So some people, they go mad for wrong things, and some people, they go obsessive for a goal, right? So same disease, but end result is different. So be obsessive about what you want to achieve and try to lead yourself, right? And don't wait for titles to become, right? You can do what I am doing today without any title, be a first day student, still you can do it, the same thing. Maybe knowledge-wise you are different, but you can attempt. But for that, to make an attempt, you don't need any title, any salary, nothing. So you can keep on trying it, right? So this is my last message. Be your own leader, and find your own dots and connect them. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to remain on stage while I invite Pankula Paranagama to give the token of appreciation